Paul. He is our new accounting manager, started on the 2nd. And so we're pleased to have him here starting with us.
We go through them and
That's fantastic. Is he going to be on the conference today?
Yeah, I guess he's not. I thought he was. I'll go check. He's supposed to be on it. So I'll find out what's going on with that.
And then make sure we're back online, and out of.
Yep, you're recording in live now.
Okay, cool.
So I'll let you go on to the next item. That Brian can handle that,
Right.
and then I'll go find out about Derek.
Brian, this hold harmless agreement with the school district?
Yes, sir. So with the Performing Arts Center addition and the soccer field that was being constructed at the high school site, the parking lot lighting needed to be modified. One of their light bases fell into the existing public sanitary storm sewer easement that runs through the parking lot. We had to work with them a little bit to get the base relocated so that we got it so it falls in between the two pipes. It was over top the sanitary line, and we wanted it moved over a little bit. So we got the base moved so it's between the storm and the sanitary. And the school didn't want to get rid of the light base because it would have required changing their lighting plans, and relocating several other bases would have been tens of thousands of dollars for them to change their lighting plan. So we agreed for them to allow the base in the easement, but they accept responsibility for that base to be there. So this hold harmless agreement is that financial responsibility piece of it. If we need to get in and do work on the sanitary sewer or the storm sewer, the school's responsible for any costs associated with removing that light base and reinstalling that light base. So it's not a utility or city cost. So that's the purpose of the hold harmless.
Well, that's pretty straightforward. Anybody got a concern with that?
I think it's a good idea.
Get a motion?
Sigali moves to approve.
Gail second.
Okay, Gail seconds. Roll call.
Seifert, aye.
Gail, aye.
Sigali, aye.
Richards, aye.
One other thing, Ken, this will be going to council next week. So you'll see it again for their approval. That's because the mayor is actually signing the document.
Okay.
So, okay. Thank you.
Okay, well, I take it Mike is still off. Why don't we?
I'm back, sir.
Okay.
And Derek is but he is listed as a net in the log here.
Well, welcome.
Hey, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me. Hello.
Morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Concerns on the voucher approval. Anything stick out like a sore thumb to you guys on the vouchers?
I didn't see anything that raised a concern.
It looked good to me.
What is Long Watch annual support? What system is that, Long Watch, with GS System?
So Long Watch is our security system that handles the remote stations, the pump stations. It does the video and alarming and access control.
All right. And just out of curiosity, there was on the Pareto analysis there, the first sheet, we got Jet Vac Environmental towards the bottom, and it's got sewer camera cables and tractor repair, which I thought was pretty diverse in nature. So I was trying to look at the detail portion of it, And when I went back through the rest of the report, I could not find Jet Vac Environmental for some reason.
I'll have to look into that.
Hi, this is Nicole. They actually, we mail, they remit as Northern Sewer Equipment, I believe. So if you look under Northern Sewer Equipment, that's where it should be.
Oh, okay. The name's changed to protect the guilty.
You know
Yeah.
it.
It's listed right after the Napa Auto Parts section of the detailed one.
Page 12.
So it's not alphabetical, it's by vendor number. And because their vendor number or their name changed, their vendor number stays the same. So yeah.
Okay. You said they were right after Napa?
Yeah, on page 12. They're the very bottom one.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay, got it. All right. Get a motion on the accounts payable summary?
Sigali moves to approve.
Gill second.
Roll call.
Gill, aye.
Sigali, aye.
Okay, we might have lost Fred with the,
Looks like Fred's gone.
okay, Richard's eye. Operating budget.
Okay, so I'll start out. There's a brief piece in your packet anyhow, but I'll start out with a couple of notes that I'd like to share. It's something that we do like to share and remind every year. There are two separate enterprise funds, one for water, one for sewer. It operates like a business, and revenues come from rates that are charged to our customers. The rates are comprised of two parts, a fixed portion based on meter size and a volumetric portion based on usage. The rates are approved by the PSC in addition to construction projects. The utility is different from the city. Our revenues come from rates from our customers using our product and services rather than from taxes. We don't have the same pressures as a city focused on lowest cost within levy and keeping within levy restraints. While we do try to be as efficient as possible, it's more important that the product we serve is a high quality product. We strive to have one of the highest quality water facilities in the country. And in bold, the operating budget for the utility is meant to be a guideline for management. It's a tool that we can use to determine whether we need rates to be adjusted. And that's all it is. There's no requirement to have a public hearing or to do any of those sort of things like you would on the city side. It really is just a management tool. We review our budget compared to actual financials quarterly throughout the year, so we can start doing a bit of tracking there. And for this budget, similar with previous budgets, it's based on a 0% revenue growth. So no new customers, no increased usage across all classes. We included a 3% increase for expenses, inflation, taxes, depreciation, that sort of thing. 5% for employee benefits, largely tied to health, and we're not quite sure what that number is going to be yet. But we're including that just as a number. 1.75 for wages, which is a likely number that the council will approve. But again, that will be specifically done later. We're just including a number at this point. And then 3% as a pass-through for MMSD. So that's included in revenues and expenses for MMSD. So that number is to some degree somewhat immaterial in that it's a pass-through. So with that, what I did this time, and we'll get back to the way we used to do things for sure with Derek being here, and we'll have another quarterly update, which will help us guide through it. But what I did is I simply took the math that I that I described for the previous budget and included that for the 2021 budget. So the 3% for expenses growth, no growth on revenue. And that's what we included. So I plotted those on these couple of extra sheets for you to sort of see where that's going. We did review individual line items to determine whether there was substantial changes that would make this method ineffective for particular items. And when there wasn't anything that was grossly outstanding, to put it that way. So this seemed like a fair method, again, as a guideline going forward, to evaluate our budget.
Yeah, I think it looks fine, Mike. The only comment I would make is that on the sheets, the nomenclature at the tops of the columns, didn't get changed. So it's indicating the wrong years, like the very
yep.
18, okay, just the typo kind of thing in both those variance columns.
Yep, exactly. Yikes.
But, the thought process is fine. That's kind of what we followed last year, or what we've been following the last number of years.
Correct.
Hey, Mike, quick question for you. Can you, under admin in general on the water side, tell me if that's a one-off decrease or if that's for personnel lagging, or what's your number?
Well, that's an increase. So it's an unfavorable number.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, just increasing the expenses there.
How does it from the 2019 budget? It's substantially less. Did we shift some things around?
Ooh, let me check my notes.
Was there a lot of lawyer fee and stuff in there 2 years ago, potentially?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, Ken. I'm not seeing anything jump out directly at me. A couple of smaller numbers.
Okay.
We definitely did have a lot of admin and I should say outside services in.
Yeah. Yeah, year over year I see that small increase, but yeah, 2 years.
Oh,
who knows?
Apologies. Here we go. Yeah, there was a $7,000 increase due to, excuse me, the mailing that we had for the DBP samples. There's $40,000 for CDM Smith to do the water quality study. This was part of our PSC application. Almost 95,000 for strategic value solutions. That was the value engineers that we had to hire for the PSC. Another 20,000 for CH2M Hill to do engineering support for that. That's largely where that's from.
Cool. Thanks.
Sadly, sir, it continues. There's $46,000 for PSC. There's another 64,000 for CH2M Hill. Yeah, unfortunately, it just sort of continues on. Boardman Clark was 226,000 that year.
Any other concerns on the budget proposal? Get a motion?
Seifert moves to approve the budget for the utility.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a first and a second. Get a roll call.
Seifert, aye.
Yeah,
Sigali, aye.
Richards, aye. Ken, aldermanic report?
Yeah, just quickly, obviously you folks probably have seen the news that the city was informed that the We Energies is going to close its the old part of the power plant over to the time frame of 2023, 2024, 2 units each year apparently. Earlier than what they had told us was a 2029 planned retirement. We're obviously still looking at financial implications there. We'll see how that all shakes out. We are strategizing over potential sales in land use at Oakview Business Park. We've got some substantial proposals in front of us that, but are mostly transit oriented, which we have a lot of there, which is from a increment standpoint and not very dense, not very useful from a tax base standpoint. So we're looking to see if we have any options to maybe manage that a little better. We are still wrapping up our budget cycle. We'll look for approval mid-month this month for the 2021 budget. Mike had mentioned earlier, we're looking at health insurance increase for the first time in 4 or 5 years for premiums. We'll be meeting tomorrow as personnel committee to give a recommendation on the impact that will be. Doesn't look to be overly large, but like I said, it's the first one in 5 years, basically due to some significant claims from last year's cycle that met the stop loss, which significantly impacted the fund. Negotiations continue with the police and fire unions. Police have been particularly tough to deal with given the attorney they have on staff, have on board this cycle. The lakefront, we continue to discuss with the F Street group on their proposal in an attempt to wrangle a financial arrangement that's going to serve everyone's purpose. And you've seen in the press as well that the area south of IKEA has multifamily proposal from NML through Mandel would be the builder there. And we continue to look at how that's going to shake out. So that's all I have. Any questions?
Yeah, if I can just add a little tidbit in there, you mentioned about the Oak Creek Power Plant. Our contract for sales to Oak Creek is tied to the old plant. That's where they use most of their water from us. And we do have a never-ending contract that specifies a minimum flow that either they take or we bill for, which is great. But the fact that it's tied to the old plant definitely gives us some pause. And they provide about 7% of our operating revenue. So that's something, yeah, we'll continue to want to watch as well.
All right. Engineering operations report, Brian?
I'm almost there. There we go. Jewel Sanitary Sewer is completed. They still have some restoration work to tidy things up. We were not very happy with how the grass was growing at the end of the year here. So we'll have to keep this project open until spring so they can make sure they get good restoration out there. But the work itself is done. I'm happy with the work that they did. Lift station is gone and we are running through the gravity sewer. So that was a good project to be completed. Water master plan, we've got the draft that we're reviewing. Possibly some changes depending on where things go here in the future. Sanitary master plan, MMSD is still reviewing the sewer sheds on that plan. Risk and resiliency assessment, that is the required EPA document to do the end of the year. We have got the draft report for that. We're reviewing that and get comments back to them for submittal. They'll start working on the emergency reaction plan when they get this completed as well.
Is that all on target then for next month?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Rawson Avenue is still ongoing, working with the railroad. Weatherly is out to bid currently. We'll have that bid opening in November 20th. And then we'll have that potential award in December. That is it's a directional bore project to tie in 2 dead ends through the park along Weatherly Drive. Howell Avenue water main lining project. We had the pre-con for that project in October. Contractors looking to start here the end of this week, first part of next week. We'll start seeing some activity out there. Going to depend on the weather, I think, this week on when they're going to be starting there. Development projects, everything's pretty much wrapping up. We got a lot of punch list items and a lot of this stuff you guys have seen all summer long. We're still working with these consultants and contractors to get things wrapped up. Just seems to be dragging on a long time this year. So Highgate is complete. Water and sewer, just punch list. Orchard Hills, same thing, have a few punch list items. Rawson Business Park, outstanding issues there. Hub 13 is complete. Creekside Crossing is complete. Just punch list stuff out there. And the condos at Oakview, that's Mod Homes down on Howell. That one as well is complete. Just waiting on punch list stuff. That is all for my report.
Right, Brian, on the Rawson Avenue looping project, you know, conversations with Union Pacific, you know, that's always my fear is that's going to drag on. And I'm just wondering from a timeline standpoint, you know, are we going to be able to put any pressure on them? Not that we're dragging out a contract with Cedar Corp, that they're going to be looking for, you know, addendums.
Unfortunately, there's really no pressure that we can put on a railroad. We went into this and Cedar Corp was aware that, you know, I anticipate it's going to take at least a year to get a permit from the railroad to do that work. So they have that in their plans, and that was our goal to get a permit in a year. So that's what we're going to keep pushing for.
Well, where does a year put us at with this? I mean, we talking next summer?
Ideally, yes. We would start construction next summer and have that permit in hand. I would say it'd probably be late fall before we're anywhere near bidding this thing out.
If you had to pull something out of your back end, what would you say would be a timeline to get, you know, any kind of progress with the railroad for them to say, go ahead?
I think it'll be next summer before we get anything from the railroad for a go ahead.
All right. Yeah, somehow you gotta do something to turn around and try and keep them, you know, on course here, because they've always typically been extremely poor in working on other people's projects.
Absolutely. I have never gotten a permit in less than a year for any work around a railroad.
Yeah, I can believe that. All right, distribution. Darren, you out there?
Yeah, I'm out here. So, yeah, looking at the report, you can see we went the month of October without a main break. Rest assured that will not be the case in November. So we'll touch that at the next meeting.
That's all because Mike turned around and kept the water temperatures pretty stable.
Yeah, he didn't do too bad last month. I can appreciate that. Water lateral, we haven't had a water lateral repair in quite a while. Homeowner at 9006 South Patricia was walking out to his mailbox one day and he heard the hissing coming from his yard. So we went and investigated it and found that there was a leak out there, fixed it, pretty routine, no issues there. And last we talked to him, he said he'll take care of fixing the hole in the yard. So we'll kind of follow up on that and just not leave him high and dry, but it sounded like he wanted to do that. Started winterizing our fire hydrants, draining the ones before we get any kind of freeze in here, adding the Dow Frost, typical routine maintenance on those. No valve repairs. So over on Hilltop, between the two roads over there, we had a manhole that was sticking up. The city lawnmower found it this time. So we decided just to lower that one down to grade. Hopefully going forward, they should clear that one now and make it an easier time for mowing for them over there.
How bad is the mower?
I think he just caught it with the body of it. So took the whole frame and pushed it over. That was the give point. But yeah, I think the mower survived. Yeah. Went along with our semi-annual quarterly dead end flushing. That went really good this time. Granted, we were a little late on the annual flushing this year, but The quarterly semi-annual numbers were real good. Yeah, other than that, we flushed our lines with South Milwaukee. Everything was going good there. And then you'll notice, Dale, that we did get our anode beds tested in September. Just a lack of communication between when they were done and getting them on the goal sheet.
Yeah, that's cool. I was concerned that we weren't that we're falling back on things because of the pandemic.
Nope, that got done. They got a real good system. They can get it done in a day now, and they know what to watch for. They had somebody from CorePro come out and give them a pretty good once over on making sure we're using the meters correctly and what we're looking for. So it's turned out pretty good.
And right now, I'm just guessing that getting the hydrants winterized is probably a concern. And then after that, you guys certainly did a big jump on the cleaning the sewers and cammering the sewers. So
Yeah, Andy had a good month out there.
yeah, it looks like things are charging forward. The weather's cooperating.
That's majority, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that went well. The winterizing, they wrapped that up already. So that'll be on the next goal sheet. But yeah, it was a good weather month for Andy and the crew to be out there cleaning, cammering.
Any concerns for Darren, you guys?
Well, looks good. He did a good job this past month.
Thank you.
Okay, Mike, the plan.
Yes, everything water quality report wise is right in parameters. You mentioned that the water was a little more stable this past month, only around a 9-degree shift in temperature, which makes a difference. Even though some of our peaks were down for the year, we're still up in the west zone. Pumpage is also up for the year, so, and up for the 5 years. So that's good news. The staff completed 185 preventive maintenance tasks and 2 safety sessions this month. Some of that work included rebuilding Golden Anderson valves at the booster stations and at the plant. We had a valve leak at the 22nd Street station, which was repaired, and replaced UPS batteries in one system this past month. I've been working on the budgetary items, getting some quotes and stuff for next year's projects or items. And the preliminary work has been done on our backwash turbidimeter. We're going to try to get it up and running this week. So I'm pretty excited about the kind of numbers we'll see on our filter washes. And the carbon feeder and fountain, they have been removed for the cold weather for the winter. So.
Where do we use Golden Anderson valves? Where is that used?
It's kind of a brand name. They're a plunger type valve, and we have them on most all of our pumps. We have a couple different types of valves, but for the majority of our pumps, we use those.
And there was something, what did you have to have Interstate come in and do for us?
Well, they didn't come in. We have 2 rapid mixers that do our flash mixing with our coagulant chemical. And the options were to send it into the factory for, I think, $2,500 just to have the new bearings and seals put on it. The local company right next door here, I checked with him. He was able to put all the new bearings and have a new shaft fabricated for us for quite a bit less. And the turnaround time was a little more than I expected, but less than the factory. And I get a little nervous when we only have 1 mixer available. So.
Oh, great. Great.
And in the future, we'll have those parts in stock, and when we need to rebuild the next one, it should be a couple of day turnaround. So it was kind of a learning experience for him, but saved a bunch of money, and he's right next door, so that's helpful.
Yeah, Interstate's a pretty good company.
Yeah, they help us out a lot.
Any concerns for Mike? Okay, Sully,
I don't have anything else this time.
well, nothing wrong with that.
I'm very happy to have Derek on board, so I can offload some of that. Well, and we can put, accurate numbers to things.
Yep.
I'll have an administrative report next meeting.
All right, cool. Any other concerns, gentlemen?
It looks good.
All right, get a motion to adjourn.
Seifert moves to adjourn at 9:43.
Second.
Roll call.
Seifert, aye.
Gail, aye.
Sigali, aye.
Richards, aye. Take care, Jim. Have a good day.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good day.
You too, Fred.